As a boxing fan, one of the biggest losses at ESPN, in my view, has been Max Kellerman and the great Andre Ward, aka SOG. Ward has been a star calling Top Rank's fights on the Worldwide Leader, as Bob Arum's promotional company has a deal with the network. Ward announced it himself on Instagram after Jared Anderson's fight against the journeyman and former IBF titleist Charles Martin on ESPN. Ward wrote, "Tonight's show was the last fight under my contract. It's been a great ride, and I'm going to miss the whole ESPN crew that I've worked with for the last 6 years. I'm excited about my future and the chance to work on new projects and endeavors. Great things ahead." This is a sad state for the industry. As we have covered previously, there are big, huge names that are now not with ESPN and have become free agents. Keyshawn Johnson, Jalen Rose, Todd McShay, Matt Hasselbeck, Ashley Brewer, Susie Colbert, Steve Young, LaFonso Ellis, Rob Ninkovich, Chris Chelios, Neil Everett, Jason Fitz, June Lee, Jordan Cornette, David Pollock, Nick Friedel, and most recently, Doug Kazarian. ESPN would put out this statement, and it would read as follows: "Given the current environment, ESPN has determined it necessary to identify some additional cost savings in the area of public-facing commentator salaries, and that process has begun. This exercise will include a small group of job cuts in the short term and an ongoing focus on managing costs when we negotiate individual contract renewals in the months ahead." Ward, at 39, recently said in May, "I feel like I have an acting bug." Awful Announcing followed that up with, "So there might be more ahead for him on that side. He's also proven himself quite well as a boxing analyst at this point and could be an interesting addition there for other networks or promotions." So we'll see where he goes from here, and we'll see where ESPN's boxing coverage goes as well. That's where I'm at. Andre Ward is a Hall of Famer, one of the best boxers of his generation, and now is out of a job because ESPN is slashing salaries left and right. As I said before as well, it is a sad state for the industry when folks who were at the Worldwide Leader, a company under the Disney umbrella, is slashing salary. Bob Iger was gone, came back after 2.5 years, and said that he wanted to save about $5 billion. Are they doing that? We'll take his word for it, I suppose. But at this point, considering how many talented people are out of jobs, the industry is simply shrinking. And from a boxing perspective, who is going to fill that void? They have Timothy Bradley, a fellow Hall of Famer. They have Bernardo Osuna calling fights. They used Christina Poncher recently for the Jared Anderson fight. Andre Ward brought not only credibility because of what he did in the ring, but the ability to show that there is a crossover between being great at being in the ring and being great at calling what he sees. He was honest yet measured, soft-spoken at times, but also ruthless with his, what I would say, complete transparent conversation of calling it as he saw it. This is a humongous loss, not only for ESPN, but I would argue for Top Rank as well. Because when you have someone that is so esteemed as is an Andre Ward, it is not replicable. You cannot find the next guy to come in off the street as a former boxer who's been on a broadcasting and fill those shoes. So, as I'm sure we've unfortunately seen many times over from troll YouTube accounts like Black and White Sports Network, who absolutely suck, and Sports Wars, who blame it on wokeness, this is not that. What you're doing is you're showing that you are drinking the Clay Travis Kool-Aid. This is about boxing losing one of the best voices, arguably two, in the sport. We've talked about Max Kellerman a lot. I wanted to dedicate this to Andre Ward because I think he is flat out fantastic. And if Showtime ever needs somebody, I'm sure they will give him a call. If DAZN needs anybody, I'm sure they will give him a call. There are other ventures being launched as well, like Overtime Boxing, that could potentially use him. I don't know what his salary would be, but I do know that whenever he calls a fight, you should tune in.